Welcome everybody to the Cohasset Select Board meeting of Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 7 p.m. We're holding this meeting in person at 91 Sawyer Street, Wilcott Commons. The meeting can also be viewed on Facebook live streaming, Cohasset 143 TV, or you can log in with the Zoom link, which is on the back of the agenda. They have a call to order, please.
Chris Plex here.
Paul Grady, present.
Julie Rollins, present.
David Farag here.
Ellen Mar, present. Thank you. I'd like to invite everyone to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
and to the republic
Which
which
it
stands
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Okay, at this point, I'd like a motion to move into executive session for exemption number 3 to discuss strategy with respect to litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation of a public body and the chair so declares. The board will discuss Milliken tennis courts and the pending Cohasset Harbor litigation. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call.
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, aye.
David Farag, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. Thank you. We will return approximately 7:45.
Football, lacrosse, and live ammo every day after school.
I was in the right team of you.
Okay, are we back, Kevin? Okay, we have public comments. Are there any public comments online? No public comments, no public comments in the audience? Nope, okay. So now, is our annual board reorganization after our town election. I'd like to welcome Julie Rollins to our crew here, newly elected. And at this point, we have to reorganize. Are we officers, Chris? What is our positions?
Chair, vice chair, and clerk.
Okay, but there's not a generic name for us all, right? Officers, no. No,
You should call yourself officer.
okay, members, whatever, okay,
Members.
all right. So, so the first order of business then would be to, make a motion for chair.
I'm gonna make a motion. If you wanna go? I'm gonna make a motion that we continue on with what we're doing. We've got some projects that we've got to finish over this upcoming year. We've got a good manager at the helm. And I'm gonna make a motion to renew Ellen Mar as chair for another year.
I would second that motion.
Okay,
Do you get a choice in the matter?
Sure. I know, I have turned it down before. No,
But
David, you go.
go ahead, you were first. Go right ahead, you.
No, I was going to accept, but if you have a comment, please make it.
I would say that usually it's been the tradition of the board to move on from chairs, so that gets cycled around, and that I don't remember a time that it's been doubled up, but certainly if it's put in, then so be it.
Okay. I would be honored to serve as chair for one more cycle. if everyone feels that's in the best interest of the board and the town. So I guess without any further comment, I'll ask for a vote.
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, aye.
David Frog, aye.
Your vote doesn't
Can I
matter.
abstain?
Yeah, if you want to.
It's kind of odd voting for yourself. So I'll abstain, but thank you all for your, trust, your support, and your, faith. Okay, next up is vice chair. Do you have any conversation about vice chair?
I would make a motion to Chris Pratt into the vice chair seat. Chris
What?
Plex, he's
He's not here.
Chris Water Commission.
losing it.
Chris Plex as vice chair.
I would second that.
Okay. I think, Mr. Farag, any comments?
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grady, for that. That motion, vice chair is, it's an important role. It's so that somebody can begin to understand, if they want to be chair, if they want to turn and run fast. I have enjoyed my year with Mr. Grady immensely. He has taught me so much, and his support and his words of encouragement and his honest words to me sometimes about being a better person and doing the right thing have meant a lot and have been invaluable. But we have a motion and we have a second for Mr. Plex as vice chair. Could I have a roll call, please?
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, aye.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye.
And Chris Plex abstains.
Okay. Then the next position is for clerk, clerk of the board. There's some readings of certain documents throughout the course of the year in public that are done. There is review of minutes prior to them being put into our packets every week, making sure we stay on track with our minutes and our documentation. Any nominations for clerk?
I do. I have a nomination.
Okay,
Usually it's traditional that the newest person on the board becomes the clerk, so they can get, a foothold on some of the, the meeting minutes and some of the goings on of the select board. So I'll nominate Julie Rollins to be the clerk for the board.
Second that.
and we have a second?
Do we need a legal definition of hazing reviewed?
Hazing review? I'm still standing. I was clerk my first year. David was clerk his first year. It's a traditional role. It's not an extraordinarily heavy lift.
Okay.
So,
I had a feeling it was coming.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just,
I got it, Mike.
you did.
Oh, you got it your first year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we have a nomination and a second for Julie Rollins as clerk. Roll call, please.
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye.
David Frog, aye.
Julie Rollins, I abstain.
You abstain, okay. All right, so now we are officially reorganized. Thank you, everybody, for everything. We will address liaison assignments at a future meeting in June, and how we want to handle those. So next up, our license and permits. We have a annual renewal for PAP Inc., DBA Dell's Lemonade. We have Chief on the line.
I am here. Oh,
Hi,
hi there.
so this is just a renewal, correct?
Correct.
And nothing out of the ordinary?
No, this is longstanding vendor. No issues whatsoever.
Okay. Okay, so may I have a motion then to approve the transient vendor renewal for PAP Inc., DBA Dell's Lemonade?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call?
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, aye.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. Okay. Next up is, the Inebri Art, sorry,
Madam Chair, there were two other renewals.
two other renewals, okay. I didn't print the most, oh, they're all on the same line.
They're all the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Kristen Donahue, DBA known as Ice Cream, that's a transient vendor renewal. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we want to check with the chief first?
Oh, yes, thank you.
No, all three are renewals, and again, no problems with any of these folks. They check out just fine.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve Kristen Donahue, DBA known as Ice Cream for a transient vendor?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, I.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. And finally, Ahmed, sorry, I can't read this, I'm sorry, DBA Zax,
Ought to be.
thank you. DBA Zax Ice Cream. Yeah,
With this one, if I may add, I noticed on the application, there wasn't a phone number. So if we could just get a phone number on the application, but everything else looked fine with it.
Okay. Chief, would that be you or would that be Tracy?
That's a Tracy, and this, again, this
Okay.
person's known to us. He lives up in Revere, I believe. But he comes down, he's been with us for at least a decade.
Okay. All right, so may I have a motion, please, to approve the transient vendor license for Zax's Ice Cream?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call?
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, I.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. Thank you. Next up is Inebri Art, use of the common and one-day entertainment license. This is an additional date of June 28th, 2025 due to rainouts. Is that correct? I think that's what Tracy told me. They've had a
Yes,
couple of rainouts.
there was a couple of, there's openings now because the farmer's market has moved around a little bit, but this will plug some holes. And this is a new group, the new group that's gonna come in, and they've been working with the town planner.
Okay. And so there's no conflict for the common. So we need to approve, we've been asked to approve a one-day entertainment license for Inebri Art for June 28th, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call?
Chris Plex, aye.
Paul Grady, aye.
Julie Rollins, I.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. And I think that's it. The next item on the agenda, we have been asked to postpone it to June 17th, the Historical Commission, Cohasset Village and Captain's Walk signs. The advocate was not prepared for tonight. So next up is annual town meeting recap. You just want to touch on it quickly, general comments. Amongst all of the successes, that there was one, overwhelming disappointment, which was the RTF Enterprise Fund. Mr. Senior, did you have any comments that you might want to make on town meeting?
So I would echo that. I think it was a really good night all around, except for the RTF. And it was clear, I think, from the conversation that there was a lot of gaps in information. I think a lot of people just didn't know much about it. And when things started to fly around that were inaccurate, it was impossible to put the Ginny Packet model. So I think that said, and a lot of things were extraneous to the actual enterprise fund came up. Right now, the select board can change the fees or any of the other issues today.
Right.
This town meeting is the majority of any of those things. So I think it went a little sideways. That said, I think it's a really good idea. It really needs to happen. And it should happen in the fall. We'll have to fill the gap at the interim. It did blow a $500,000+ hole in the budget, which we're gonna have to address it one way or another. So we can make it through on an interim basis. We'll make it run. That said, there's still work that has to be done. And if we're gonna really put the money into this and make it run in the efficient way we'd like to, it really does need to have its own structure. So, I mean, all the good things that were said about it, all the conversations I had here in front of advisories and stand, I think we just have to educate the public over the next several months. That said, a little bit more update. I think that's what you're talking about. Physical changes going on. And we're making really positive operational changes too. The staff has really been better trained. I think things are working better. A little bit of the new flow, I think, has been working a little bit better, and we're gonna continue to build on that. That said, there's a genuine financial challenge that's gonna have to be addressed in the fall. We'll just make do between now and then, the whole thing's really tight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Grady?
You notice at town meeting that sentiment wasn't too hard against the RTF and the enterprise fund. But there was, I think, a letter today, an email today, sent to, I think, a number of us. But the questions are pretty basically and easily answered. Or like in today's email, I've heard the same, brought that up, different staffing structures and things like that, that need some addressing. But overall, if we socialize it, bring it to town in the fall and answer every question, dot the i's, cross the t's, it's a hell of a plan. So I think that it's kind of like town hall. We have socialized the hell out of it to get it over the finish line. So I think we'll do okay.
I found the videos and the handouts very helpful for the other projects that we did in town. And I wonder if we could do something like that for this to get the word out there. And, you know,
Sometimes those are the simplest things, right?
Right.
If you want to just come right to the chase and give people this, a
Yeah.
90-second or, 120-second
right.
package, right?
Yeah.
So we can most certainly do that, so. We'll get more information.
I think regarding the RTF issue for the enterprise fund, I think it boils down to one thing, which is that people just want to know where they stand. In other words, what are the fees going to be? Is there going to be a senior discount? How much is it going to be? And then, filling in the other gaps in information, sort of a business plan that one of the speakers spoke about that, which, is easily attainable because there's not a lot of, the costs and expenses are pretty basic up there. I think that's, that fills in the gaps and then go from there. And then socialize it, as you said, and let people know where they stand.
Flex?
I agree with Mr. Farag. It's the fee schedule. As soon as somebody said the sticker fee could go to $400,
Oh,
the proposal was dead.
oh, yeah.
Even though that wasn't what we were proposing, but what we were proposing was hard to clarify. So if we nail the fee schedule, I think this sails through. One question I do have for you. You mentioned that the hole that's created in the budget is significant. Is that just the sticker fees, or are there other revenues that would have come in had this been an enterprise fund?
Both. Because we had planned to create some new opportunities and then have them run through just to the enterprise fund, because right now, they'll just run through the general revenue. I have no other way to do it. We may have to do some of that anyway. It'll just, again, it's never bad to have more revenue, but it won't go to where it needs to. That's and I think that was also something people don't understand, is that if there, and again, I think it has to be explained.
Yeah, the other thing that I think really threw people was the impact on funding for the schools. Got a life of its own in the room
I
very
know,
quickly.
which had been fully addressed, and the schools were satisfied with it. And it was just complicated. It would have gotten very complicated to go through all the weeds on it, and actually, it became very circular, right? So that has to be explained too, that there was no impact on the schools. In fact, not having an enterprise fund will have an impact on the
Right,
schools.
right,
If we
exactly.
have to change the budget, because the schools are gonna be an equal opportunity, they're gonna get a hit just like the town would if we
Mhm.
have to do this.
Right,
And nobody wants that, so at least I don't think so, so. And again, you're right, once something comes out like that, it's like, how do you go back, right?
So Julie was right. We do bullet point videos, address the questions and get them out there.
and I think, for me, the process, how do I say this? If we go back to One Pleasant Street last year and how that failed, because we didn't have an answer for historic town hall and this enterprise fund, and we knew we were just asking for the creation of the fund, not for the whole operational component of it. People want the whole picture. So I think whenever we put something on town meeting like this, we have to have the whole picture buttoned up voted on, agreed upon, to say, this is what it is, this is what we voted, so that people know, because it's always the unknown. It's interesting, they, not a question on a $58 million budget, but a question on a $400 sticker. So, that was my takeaway. I'm confident that we can get this presented with the right marketing and with all of the questions answered. And we talked briefly at one point in time about maybe just having a forum and inviting people in to talk about their thoughts and their concerns. We don't get good attendance at forums, but I would like to put it out there that, we'd like to hear from people.
We might even, we might want to hold something literally. I don't want to clog up the RTF, right? But maybe we can set up a display or something, maybe right next door at the public works site. So people can like drive over and see it. So they don't clog, so we'll have stuff there and maybe be handing out things to people at the RTF. Because those are the people going to be most directly affected, right? The people who come, so.
Right,
um,
right.
So I think some great ideas over the next month or so will be great. We'll have it all together.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, everybody. So now we'll move on to town project updates.
Yeah, so starting with the town hall renovation, so I think everyone was excited, positive vote at town meeting. So we've already hit the ground running on that. So for the town hall 41 Highland, we've already advertised the bids for the sprinkler fire alarm. It's going to be released this Thursday. And the bids are due June 24th. So that one's moving right along. We received specifications for the windows. That bid is going to be released on May 28th and due June 30th. We are engaging a designer. We've sent out a couple of requests to different design firms to see if they would like to help us with this project. And we have one designer that's extremely interested in the project. They helped us with things in the past. So they're familiar with the town and the town hall. We are looking for temporary relocation space for when the renovations are happening. More specifically, HVAC renovations, windows, because the public won't be able to come into the building to do daily business because of the disruptions. The HVAC design is well underway, and we're hoping to be able to bid that in the first or second week in July. So we'll have all the major components bid and we'll have the results back. And we'll have a project plan put in place to start the renovations.
Very exciting.
Any questions on that? Okay, so the tennis courts. So provide a quick update on the tennis courts. So I do want to let everyone know that all 6 tennis courts have been playable this season. The boys and girls tennis teams have played on all 6 courts. They've practiced there, they've had their matches, and all have gone very well. We've had comments from other towns to say that even the unfinished courts that we have are better than the courts that they play on daily, so that was positive. We talked about some of the delamination that is happening on the second floor, which we identify as courts 1, 2, and 3. So we hired an independent concrete expert, SGH. They did an assessment of the courts for us. They gave us an engineered report that actually told us why the courts are delaminating. It has to do with the air entrainment of the courts. So we're going to move forward with coring to make sure the structural integrity of the courts are there. We're not only going to core courts 1, 2, and 3, we're going to core 4, 5, and 6 as well to make sure each floor has the structural integrity that we expect. The coring is going to take place this week. We'll have a verbal report from the independent results within 2 weeks, and then we'll have a formal report to be able to release to the public the first week of July. If all goes well, and we do anticipate it will go well, just from some of the independent results we've already received, we're going to move forward with grinding off that delaminated course, going ahead with finishing the top layer, resurfacing and striping the courts for a completion date of August 1st.
I do have a question. Court 6, will that be lined for 2 courts of pickleball?
So that's a great question. I think it's the town's desire. If we want to stripe them for pickleball, we can. I think we're working on another option just to have pickleball courts in town.
Mhm.
Versus striping the 6th court, because once you stripe it, then we'll have to have someone come back, resurface and stripe again when it turns back to tennis. So I think that's,
I think pickleball courts, separate pickleball courts are a long way off. If I've been here like about 10 years, 11 years, and I've noticed that things can take a while. I know the public wants pickleball courts now. I was formerly on the Recreation Commission where we voted to have the 6th court lined for pickleball, 2 courts on that 6th court. We voted on it and it was our understanding that it was happening. So I just wanted to put that out there publicly, that that is the wish
okay.
of the Recreation Commission. And
So-
I think the public.
Okay, so if we're gonna strike that 6th court for pickleball, I think we should start getting some notice out to the neighbors fairly quickly. Because as you've seen in other communities, just that noise.
The sound, yeah.
Yeah.
that sound is problematic sometimes. But we'll work on that on our end to make sure we get that communication out.
Okay, great.
Mr. Grady?
I would say that, it don't stop, let's not stop on the permanent pickleball courts.
No, it shouldn't. No.
Actually,
Yeah.
sometimes we can faster than people expect. So that's a good thing. And, one question that people are asking, none of this, the stuff we have to do on the course now is on the town's dime, right?
No, so the
That's-
town is
that's-
only paying the bid price that was set forth. All the additional testing, the independent testing that when we hired SGH is being paid for by the contractor.
So we can say that out loud to the whole town, we are not paying a cent. There, just wanted that out on 143, that's all.
I would, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, David.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, and in the town hall for working on this. And I know there was a lot of fanfare, with some of the issues out there, but the town is working on it. And I think it's just important for people to know that the town of Cohasset and the select board, I think I can speak for all of us, that we're going to make sure that the town gets its value for these courts and that the town gets exactly what we had bid and that we're going to get the tennis courts that we paid for. And that, there can be problems with construction, but everything's fixable. So the plan is there. And so we'll just have to let it roll out and then we'll have brand new tennis courts by the end of the summer.
Great,
Exciting.
very exciting. I would agree that the 6th court should be pickleball, and I wouldn't even be concerned about having to resurface and restripe it for tennis. I mean, there's only, in high school competitive play, there's only 5 matches, right? I don't know if it's 2 singles and 3 doubles or 3 singles and 2 doubles, but there's only 5. So I think it would be really, really good to make it a permanent pickleball court. And, to that end, when we talk about PR and stuff, I'm no longer on the emails, but the superintendent of schools usually sends out a weekly or bi-weekly newsletter. And maybe we can use the schools to kind of broadcast the status because it reaches, there's 1,400 students. There's probably 700 or 800 families, a big constituency, and maybe we could get her some, just a paragraph so that it can get out there and people can see.
Sure. Well, that's something to know.
No lights on the courts, right? Okay, so the noise of the pickleball really is only going to be during daylight hours. Okay, great.
And if we do when we strike the pickleball courts, we may just have some signage that not just start before 8 AM.
Right.
Stop by.
Exactly. I think we can come up with
Just
some
some
common
parameters.
sense
Mhm.
rules to be good neighbors.
So we'll let Brad know to strike it for pickleball. Okay.
Great, thank you.
And then the next project is the library pavilion. So very excited. So we did this now the 4th time, and we have a contractor on board. They signed their notice of award letter. We have all of their documents. We're negotiating the contract right now, but the bid price was $594, and then there's some additional money in there for the landscape architect oversight. because he was kind enough to do everything pro bono for the library for those designs. So, we are gonna hire him just for project oversight, which is great. So the project is going to start August 15th. And they're gonna, mobilize, they're gonna mobilize August 15th. They're gonna start with most of the earthwork first. And then you'll see some of the masonry work start fairly quickly. They predict it's gonna be about a 90-day time frame from start to finish. The last piece being transplanting the trees because they don't want to disrupt them until they can actually when they lie dormant, they'll transplant them. But they're estimating a 90-day time frame, weather pending. We're excited to work with them. They've done a lot of successful projects on the South Shore. They're local. And we've already had our first kickoff meeting. So very exciting.
Just one question. August 15th keeps us clear of all the summer rec camp activities?
It's
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. But I was trying to remember back to what town meeting this was approved at, 2 years ago, maybe, 3 years ago.
And the exciting thing about this is we put it out to bid the first time for the whole project. We had to scale it back because the first bids we got were far and above what we could afford. The second time we didn't get any bidders. Third time we got bidders again over and above what we could afford. And this time we had 3 viable bids and 1 came in right in the sweet spot. So
Great.
Great. Well done. Thank you. And thanks for the recap of the other projects, and you'll email it to David, please. Thank you. Okay, moving on, town manager update.
So, I testified virtually last week, and on behalf of the MMA's effort to return liquor licensing authority to the communities, period.
Oh.
I also plugged the fact that we have a home rule petition, which they have not heard that hearing yet. So once they have that hearing, I'll let everyone know. But that has been the bills were filed for us. So I joined the MMA testimony, and so that was last week. So that went well. I don't know if they'll approve it. The state senator. The funny thing is that I was allowed to testify virtually, but the state senator Pushkit was not allowed to testify virtually. Well, some weird rule with the House of Representatives. That was actually kind of fun. So hopefully they'll, make some progress. But again, I was able to plug the fact that our bill is coming. And then turning purely local for a second. So we do have ads out for our town accountant finance director. So we've been beating the bushes, words out there. I actually had someone I know from another community call me about someone they used to work with. So the word's out there. We actually have already met with I think a very interesting candidate preliminarily, and I think we're going to meet with them this week, I think, or next week. Next week, yeah, I think they're on vacation. I think they're on vacation this week. So, so we are moving actively on that. And again, the ads on the MMA website, but I think it's on our website too. So if anybody wants to post on your own website, if you know anyone who is a CPA or has strong background in accounting, feel free to pass it along. Finding people in the government accounting world right now is difficult. It's a very small pool. That said, we are, I think, cautiously optimistic that we're going to find the right candidate out there in this go. So, and I believe we're still looking for somebody DPW. We're still opening a DPW. So if anyone has a CDL license, we're always looking for people. So I'll find it. Okay. But we do post regularly. There's an HR website, which will take you through Selectmember Rollins. So there's all the job descriptions are up there. There's an org chart. There's all kinds of great stuff up there. So, and then we're continuing to negotiate all the other contracts. I'll talk about those in more detail in a future executive session. So we continue to work positively on those.
Great, thank you.
I would welcome Selectmember Rollins.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, select board comments, Mr. Plex.
Just one tonight. Welcome to Julie. Joining us. Looking forward to a productive year.
Mr. Grady.
I had one, but I'm gonna have 2. Chris, I heard you did a great job in that testimony, so thank you very much. It'd be a great thing to have. I heard that you did a hell of a job. And again, welcome, Julie.
Thank you.
Ms. Rollins.
Thank you for welcoming me so nicely to this board. I'm really pleased to be here and I'm excited to serve the town for the next 3 years in this position. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Farag?
Thank you. Welcome, Julie. That's number one. And I'd like to thank everybody who came to town meeting and all the town boards that did all the work that led up to town meeting, which was very successful this year. And regarding that, we had talked a lot about having a balanced budget, which is what we had here without an override or otherwise, even with some of the rough seas that we had with the school budget. And one thing that I would like to point out as an example to everybody, if they don't know sort of what that means, is that if you look at all the other towns around us, most of them had overrides and only one, to my knowledge, passed, and that was Hanover. Almost all the towns voted them down. And I'll just take one example, which is very important. That's Duxbury. Duxbury had a $1.7 million override, which did not pass. And now they're going to, on the school side, which they're going to cut among the other services, because they're going to cut all services, they're going to be firing close to 18 full-time teachers out of their school system. And it's going to run everything from English to theater to the arts to world language, you name it. And then, of course, when this happens, when an override fails, it's not precision that you're firing by. It's not a scalpel. It's more like a machete. And so what happens is with a teacher's contract, it's going to be last hired, first fired. So the people that you're going to be cutting are the ones who are probably in the 1 to 5 year range in your school system, the ones who are working your way up, the new teachers who have now become embedded into your system. They're going to be gone. So your future heads of your departments and things like that, they're going to be gone out of your school system. So I just bring that up that as we get to next budget season, which is a ways away, is that if there's any adjustments that need to be made, any budgets, that they're done by the particular boards and that they're not done with an override or the expectation of one. Because you can see exactly what happens when it fails. And Duxbury had always been kind of one of the schools that we kind of marked, even though Duxbury's about 1.5 times the size of Cohasset. But because they were a little bit bigger, they could always offer the electives that Cohasset couldn't because they had those extra teachers to do so. And it looks like that's not going to be happening when they have to fire 18 teachers at a minimum. So the Cohasset school system is in the top 20, almost pushing the top 10 in most of the categories, and we'd like to keep that momentum going. So I just put that out there as an example for everybody of what happens when an override fails and what the effects are, so that we can keep those in mind as we go through the budget season. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair, I apologize, there's something I forgot to mention.
That's okay.
You're gonna do the.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up.
So
Okay.
there's one other thing, so I hopefully should just poke me electronically. We were doing a pilot test for 2 things in the village, just a pilot. One is, there's a space in front of Salty Days that is gonna be just carved out just in the evenings for a shuttle for the staff, so that because of the parking that had been available on that empty site, which is not, the village is really thriving, so they're trying to move their staff. They've made a deal, I believe, with St. Anthony's, and they're gonna be putting their staff down there, so they're gonna have a shuttle for their staff up to the parking lot up at St. Anthony's. So that'll take a little bit of pressure off the village. And if you see a little spot there, it's a turnover spot, so if the golf cart's not sitting there, it's on street legal golf cart. Staff, it's just for pickup, so the opening long-term parking right in front of Salty Days, so I think right there. There's also 6 spaces that the town's been in an ongoing battle with the former Dr. Pompeo office.
Yeah.
So while we continue to work through this, the 6 spaces are not usable at all, so we're gonna turn them the police chief recommended we turn them temporarily into 3 legal golf cart spaces. So we're gonna try that on an interim basis until we work it out, because we can't get cars in there right now anyway. So we're gonna temporarily, it's just a pilot, we'll try to make those the street legal golf cart spaces, and we'll see if it's successful. At the same time, I'm still working, trying to be able to get those 6 spaces back, but that's gonna be a longer conversation. But I just wanted to bring that up tonight, and I apologize for not doing it.
Sure, that's okay. Is the shuttle only for employees of Salty Days, or is it for anyone who works in the village?
They'll extend it to anyone who works in the village.
Okay, great.
So yeah, they're starting with just their employees, but Michelle said they're willing to do it for other staff. which I think will help take some of the pressure off parking. Because we don't have any public transportation.
Right.
Could we spread that word to the other restaurants and staff, like Red Lion? They have a much more robust staff than Salty Days.
I believe that, believe it or not, there's more staff at some days than you think, but.
No, there's a lot. I
That
get-
said, I believe that the person behind us, one of the owners of Salty Days has been talking to the neighbors as well, so, I would encourage that broader conversation. I think you. I think
Right,
it's something
absolutely.
wrong.
When you mentioned pilot, I wondered about, I noticed some new painting on the parking spaces in front of the bank, 30 minutes. Can you tell us more
Well,
about
we've
that?
always- They've always been that way.
I've never noticed them. Oh, I've
Yeah.
never noticed. It looks like brand new paint.
People ignore the signs.
Never noticed it before.
Yeah.
I only noticed the new paint, or what I think is new paint on the pavement.
Yeah,
So this was
That
an
new?
effort to remind, because people want to look at the signs,
Right,
and we don't want to have to just ticket people, so they're going,
Right.
police chief's right there too, if you have
Yeah,
any. So the
do.
goal is to enhance the visibility of it, because it's both for the little takeout place right there. Why am I blanking on the name? It's a barrel, thank you.
barrel, yeah,
And for the bank, because they want to have their customers turn over, right?
right.
right,
So if people block those spaces, they can't get the traffic that they need.
yeah,
And it's always been limited, but the visibility has not been there.
makes sense. So will the police be monitoring that and marking tires, or?
We're not allowed to mark tires anymore.
Okay,
But we do monitor that, and we have an electronic way of doing that. So we've had over the last month, we've had a ton of calls about people overstaying that 30-minute time limit in those spots. So DPW had the vendor in town that was doing the striping, so we asked that they add that actual pavement marking there. And it's actually really made a dent in the problem. One of the interesting things that's come out of all this, I've been talking to Dave McGregor along with Chris and Michelle, Doug McGregor. DoorDash and Uber Eats has become huge in town, and they do a lot of takeout business. So that was really the reason behind those 15-minute spot, the 15-minute pickup drop-off spot at Salty Days. So hopefully that's going to alleviate some of the traffic issues we've been experiencing Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, really. And we're really losing 55 South Main Street where people are parking. Those over 30 spots. So that has really impacted things down there, and it's gotten tight. So we're a victim of our success.
mhm.
All right, great, thank you. So I just have a few brief comments. I'd like to thank everybody who pulled papers and ran, everybody who volunteered to be a write-in vote. We had several write-ins for sewer commission and Ms. Rollins here and Mr. Grady for running again. And I would, so I'd like to thank everyone who took the time. We had 2 contested races, and that's what government's all about. I'd like us to all begin thinking about, we're entering the season for new board and committee appointments. Tracy hopefully will be providing us with a list soon, and I think she's been receiving applications already, but we should encourage anyone we know to get involved. It's a great way, you know, some of these boards and committees, some lifts are heavier than some lifts are lighter. It's a great way to get involved in the town and help to make a difference. So we'll be starting to appoint people probably in June with the applications. So that's all I can echo my colleagues, and welcome Julie. I'm thrilled to have you here. And I look forward to a good year. And thank you to my existing board members for your faith and confidence in voting for me to be chair again. So with that being said, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve.
Did you want to mention the Memorial Day stuff?
Oh, Memorial Day. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So we have in front of us the Memorial Day weekend activities. Saturday is the Healing Field and Veterans dedication ceremony at 1 o'clock, Saturday, May 24th. We typically, the select board will have a speaker at that event. Is anyone interested in speaking? I'm saying a few comments, a few words.
It's usually the chair.
It's usually the chair. Okay. Okay. I'd be happy to do it. And then Monday, May 26th is the Memorial Day Parade. We generally congregate around 8 o'clock at the American Legion Post. And it's quite a day, Julie.
Yep, Happy
So,
to be there.
Yep, where
I
you're,
heard a lot of walking.
yeah, where your
I'll wear my
walking
running
shoes.
shoes.
Yep, yep. And it ends back at Veterans Memorial Park for some speeches, and it's quite moving. So that's Memorial Day. Did I miss anything, Chris? No? Okay. Now I can move on to the minutes. So the first set of minutes is May 6, 2025. Any comments or edits? None. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented for May 6, 2025?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call?
Chris Plex, aye.
Already,
I think I have to abstain.
Yes.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. Next set of minutes is May 12th, 2025. I only have one addition. Lisa, if you could just make a note that we adjourned at 8:59 PM on a motion by Mr. Grady, seconded by Mr. Plex, and it was all aye. Because we didn't end the meeting in the minutes, because Tracy wasn't there. So that being said, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended for May 12th, 2025?
so moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Chris Plex, aye.
Already,
David Frog,
Oh.
aye.
Julie Reynolds, abstain.
Ellen Mar, aye. Great, thank you. That being said, we don't have any topics not reasonably anticipated, so can I have a motion to adjourn at 8:27 PM?
so moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call?
Chris Plex, aye.
Already,
Rollins, aye.
David Frog, aye.
Ellen Mar, aye. Thank you very much.